Rita Crockett joining us now, native of San Antonio. In fact, you're voted as one of the best volleyball players in the history of this country. Talk about just playing at that junior college level, which would eventually lead to going to the University of Houston.
Junior college, I remember that we played our national championship in just, not the big convention center, but, in a nice gym. And being an All-American was big, but not as big as it is now. And all the things that are happening now happened back in my day, just not as big, for the women. So that's the one thing that I remember that probably is the biggest difference. And it's really good as a college coach to see my athletes get so big recognition. It means it's kind of like getting to go to the prom, and you're all dressed up and you get to go to the prom, and I remember how I felt, and I can imagine how much bigger it is for them. Wade Phillips is here, and I think we were also inducted into the Hall of Honor at University of Houston together. So it's kind of cool to have that person that's such a big figure, and you're being a part of the same thing that he's a part of, as University of Houston alum. So it's just pretty cool.
You were a 1977 AIAW All-American, and then you were elected to the 1980 and 84 U.S. Olympic teams. What was it like representing your country worldwide in the Olympic Games?
When I became an Olympian, to me it was all about wearing the USA on your back. More so I'm an Olympian, it was I am USA. And whenever we went to another country or of course competing for the Olympics, it was not me as a person, it was USA. It was, we are going to beat you. Our country is better than your country. So it's a very prideful thing to be an Olympian.
Who was the biggest threat to the United States? Brazil, Russia, China?
Brazil was the toughest. It went 5 and went down to the wire. One of my best friends is the setter for the Brazilian team, and we to this day are very close friends. So we talk about those games all the time. Did you touch that ball? No, did you? Things like that. So I think it's just, we were all very close friends. Even though we were competing so hard against each other, we were very close friends.
You played overseas. What was it like being in Japan and some of the European countries playing professional volleyball?
You're like a football star here. It's very big. It's one of the largest, biggest sports in those European countries. So there's soccer, then there's volleyball and basketball. So it's very different. Being in Japan was mob-like. You get mobbed if you're walking around. Of course, I look different than most Japanese, so I was more noticeable. But it was a great experience.
You brought Major League Volleyball to the United States.
I thought that was something great. It's unfortunate that it didn't get to continue on, but I think it really helped volleyball grow a little bit, and for people to see what it was like to be a professional volleyball player. So if you did get a contract overseas, to go for it, because it was great.
That experience had to be really good for you as a player, but then eventually would lead to being a coach in Iowa and Florida State.
It was a good transition for my family because we came from Switzerland to Iowa, and very similar as far as the lifestyle, the weather. I think that it was a very good transition. The people at University of Iowa were awesome. They were just the best people ever, and some of those guys are still there today. It was just a little cold for me, so I wanted to try to make my way south, and we're in Florida.
Rita, you were named the AVCA National Coach of the Year at Florida International.
We finished 3rd in the nation, and there was USC went undefeated, and great coach, Anna Collier, and it was like, her team went undefeated. It was great. And we were all waiting, you know, everybody's getting their awards, all Americans, and then they said, and the National Coach of the Year from FIU is Rita Crockett. And did they just say, and I was just, whoa, you know, it just, I couldn't help it. I cried like a baby. And Anna, I'll never forget this. She came up to me and she said, "You deserve this." And that meant a lot to me, because for me, it was all her. I mean, her team was undefeated, and we went from 8th to 3rd in the nation in one season. And you know, I'd have to also thank my assistant, who was my daughter at the time, Rita. It took a lot. You know, it took an army to get that for me. So that was a huge award for me.
So in 2 of the first 3 years you're with the program with Florida International, you lead them to the championship game. That speaks very highly of your coaching ability. What do you like about being a coach? And tell us about your student athletes.
I mean, I love being at Florida International University. It's recruiting wise, it's just great. You know, you can get any Americans, Floridians, Californians, Europeans, everybody loves Miami. And it makes it really good for the programs, of course. We've been very successful on the beach, and hopefully we will continue to keep being successful there. I think that Florida International is an up-and-coming, huge, very big university. They're growing, new things are coming on all the time, and our president is amazing. So he's doing a great job with that university.
So what will tonight be like for you, being part of the Texas Sports Hall of Fame, someone who's had worldwide recognition, but now it's home here in the Lone Star State?
It's kind of full circle. It's, you know, I've been inducted into the International Hall of Fame, San Antonio Hall of Fame, University of Houston Hall of Honor, and now my state is recognizing the work that I've done throughout my life. And that really is an emotional thing to, I don't know if you understand it, but even though I haven't lived here in a long time, I'm from here. I am a Texan, and I will always be a Texan. So for the Texans to honor me with my trade, it means a lot.